Alright, legends, welcome along to Hellmouth Hotline. I'm your host, Rodney Stewart. We're getting into Agel, Season 1 in this episode. This is Season 1, Episode 18, 5x5, the first of a very good two-parter. Yes, this is Fifth's return, and not the end of to her story in this two-parter, but it does kind of close up where she's at and the run. So Agel and Wesley, at the beginning of the episode, they rescue this gang member from three demons, and we cut over to Fifth. She arrives in Los Angeles in a bus, and this guy is there, and he's one of these creepy guys, pimp sort of a character that's just trying to prey on girls coming into LA, not knowing that Fifth is a rogue slayer. He ends up getting mugged by her, and she takes his keys and his wallet and everything. He says, you need somewhere to stay, something to eat and whatnot. You need some money. He's doing his sales pitch, and then after she mugs him, she says, well, I've got a place to stay now I've got money, and I'm kind of going to like being here, sort of thing. So throughout this episode, and like a lot of the episodes on the run of Agel, there's all these flashbacks to Agel's earlier days, and in a really nice way in this episode it kind of mirrors where Fifth is at in her journey, and stuff that Agel went through in the past as Angelus, the whole 9 yards. It's like, it's good storytelling. Like I love the Agel spin-off better than Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I have to say. Really do like his character. So we split back. We go to a flashback storyline in this episode. Romania, 1898. Darla, we meet her again in the past, and she leads a blindfolded Angelus to a birthday present, which turns out to be a young Romanian woman lying bound and gagged on the floor of the place they're staying in. And, of course, Angelus says, you brought me a gypsy and whatnot. So Darla watches him as he bites into the terrified girl, gets into her inner thigh. You don't see too much graphic stuff in this show, but having said that, this was supposed to be like a more grown up, kind of darker version of what Buffy the Vampire Slayer would have been. And for a lot, some of the storylines on here, you do get a lot of darker stuff, but nothing that you'd really write home about. Whenever you put the two series up against each other, but they're slightly darker in ways. And in the days when this was originally aired, this series here in the UK, I believe that there was, I'm trying to recall if it was season 1 or 2 now, but there was definitely one episode out of the series, whether it's series 2 or season 1 or season 2, sorry, there was definitely one episode that was not aired in the UK here. But once we get that there, we'll cover that in more detail. But just where's my head at in this episode? I'm supposed to be talking about this episode and nothing else. So we get that flashback to Angelus biting into the gypsy girl. That, of course, where this is going to go to in the story. Then this is his backstory of the curse, essentially, in this one. So, present day, at the Agel's investigation office, Agel tries to convince this gang member that he rescued the night before to testify in court, despite the gang member's resistance. In the other room, Cordelia complains to Wesley. He's trying to get a bit of sleep. They've been up all night. She says that this guy, the chances of him testifying are low. Therefore, she's wasted a perfectly good vision on him. Wesley believes that this kid will do the right thing. So he's talking up the whole thing where, basically he's human at the end of the day, so he just wants to do the right thing. At that, the guy, he busts through Angel's office door and he's like, no, forget it, I'm out of here. To which Angel pulls him back and sit down there, shut up, sort of a thing. So yeah, eventually he does get him talked around. But before we see what happens in this part, or that part of the episode, sorry, we cut over to Fifth. Once again, she's dancing in this local nightclub. She's confronted by this girl that objects to Fifth dancing with the girl's boyfriend. In response, Fifth, puts the elbow under her face. The boyfriend then takes a swing at Fifth. She slams him into a group of people across the room. A bar fight breaks out at this point. So as everybody gets bored into each other, fists flying, kicking, punching, the whole 9 yards, Fifth just continues to dance while everything's going to hell around her. So she doesn't give a flying damn, really. We cut over to a courtroom the next day. Lindsay MacDonald is there on behalf of Wolfram and Hart, and he moves for dismissal of a murder charge against his client. But just then Angel shows up with this kid that he'd rescued the night before, having talked him into being a key witness for the prosecution, willing to testify. As Lindsay takes heat for his failure in court, another lawyer there, Lee, suggests hiring Fifth to kill Angel, and together with Lila Morgan, who knows how to find Fifth, he makes the contact. I have to say now, this guy Lee, a bit of a dick, but that's just the character that he plays in this episode. But Lindsay MacDonald in this series is fantastic. Lila Morgan is incredible as the two pain in the ass lawyers that are just the thorn in the side of Angel at every turn. So Angel has got the upper hand here on the legal side of things, so they're going to go after him with a rogue slayer. Wesley and Angel cut over to them. They've returned from the courtroom. Cordelia is on the phone making plans to meet a potential client for lunch the next day. She asks how the case went. Wesley tells her that the prosecution won thanks to this kid's testimonial. However, Wesley also predicts that Wolfram and Hart will enact revenge upon Angel investigations as a result. There's a little bit of comedy moment there with Cordelia whenever she says, you can tell whenever Angel is happy because his scowl is a little less scowly, or his frown, so we cut over to another nightclub. Fifth has met with Lila, suspicious of how Lila knows so much about her. Fifth threatens her, but a limousine pulls up behind the two and Lee invites Fifth in. Throwing Lila a glare, she accepts the offer and gets in. So, this is a moment there where between the two of them, I don't want to read too much into it. There's a part there where you're thinking, okay, Lila says, I think you misinterpreted my intentions towards you, sort of a thing. And you almost think it's like a sexual thing at this point. Faith is going to go out with her, but Faith clearly at the same time, she's there to live life as best she can on her own, and she's already mugged one person, so she's clearly thinking of mugging Lila as well. But at the same time, there's that little moment where you're thinking to yourself, is she going to, it just kind of come into my head now when I'm talking about it. But it is what it is. They managed to get her into the limousine, and with the, they're just waving money under her nose at this point and whatnot. We cut back to Romania in 1898. Darla finds that Angelus is acting strangely. He's reflecting on his 140 years of killing, which he remembers in detail. He says that the Gypsies people did something to him Darla realises that he now has a soul, which she finds filthy and disgusting. She threatens Angelus with a stake and drives him out into the night. Back to the present day, Wolfram and Hart offices. Fifth negotiates with Lila, Lindsay and Lee. They remind Fifth that she's charged with murder and promise to get her charges dismissed if she kills Angel. Now that's the polite way of saying it, but there's a little bit of double entendre there where we can get you off if you help us out, sort of thing. So we bounce off that a couple of times as well, that's that subtly done that, she says at one point, besides getting me off, how much are you going to pay me and whatnot. And, she's referring clearly to the fact they're going to get her off the charges, but there's that little bit of a sexual vibe going again. So there's that. There's getting off as in getting off of the crime, and there's getting off as in getting off. Do you know what I mean? So dirty dog. They tell her all she has to do is kill this guy called Angel. As soon as she hears the name, she accepts. Asks what they'll pay, of course. This guy Lee skirts around the issue, telling Fifth that it's his ass on the line. Dissatisfied with his answer, she grabs him by the scruff of the neck after I'm telling her, I don't want you to make me look bad. So she starts beating his head off the desk in the office and saying, how do you look now? How do you look now? At that point, Lila and Lindsay are just not worried about this guy Lee whatsoever. Lindsay just, simply gets on to presses a button on the desk to the secretary and says, you better make it dinner for 3 instead of 4. So she's beating this guy to a pulp. Doesn't kill him. You do get to see him later on in the episode, and he's, neck brace, the whole 9 yards. Next day, Cordelia, Wesley and Angel are in the lobby of his office building on their way to a lunchtime meeting. And Cordelia is trying her best to avoid what the case is. Of course, Angel investigations there. And fighting the supernatural, vampires, demons, you name it and whatnot. But she has got them into a dinner date with this guy and a divorce case. And she says, well, whenever they finally fish it out of her, Angel's like, that's not what we do. And Cordelia says, well, the guy says that his wife is a real witch. So, nice little bit of comedy there. But as they're having this little back and forth, suddenly Faith appears, attempts to shoot Angel in the back with a crossbow, but he turns around in time to catch the bolt in midair. And Faith issues her challenge and runs out the door. She's like, this is going to be fun. That was cool. Back at his office, Angel phones Giles in Sunnydale to learn that Faith has been out of her coma for a week. He instructs Wesley and Cordelia to help him track down the rogue slayer, but to make himself scarce. Cordelia agrees, of course, but Wesley wants to be involved, saying, I was her watcher. Giles should have told me when she awoke. He asks if Faith did something to Buffy, thinking this might explain Angel's feelings. However, Giles wouldn't get into the specific details, only telling Angel that it was rough, fearing that Angel let emotion control him, and one or two of them will end up dead. Wesley states, she's not a demon, Angel. She's a sick girl, expressing concern that it's possible Faith can be rehabilitated. Angel then angrily responds that he had been helping her out the previous year, and he was just getting to the point of actually reaching her when a English guy bust in with commandos from the Watchers Council to abduct her, ensuring that she would never trust anyone again. To which Cordelia is like, what's Wesley got to do with some English guy, wrecking your chances? And then she's like, no, here, hold on a minute, that was you. And it was. He screwed the whole thing up. But yeah, so where are we at? I'm losing my place in my notes as usual. Later, with Wesley and Cordelia absent, Angel finds Faith in his office, where she stands protected by the sunlight, with the blinds open. She promises to kill Angel when the time comes, then tosses him a gun and gives him a chance to kill her first. He doesn't. hold back. He grabs a gun, fires at her leg, and turns out to be a blank. So he tosses the gun back to Faith, and she mocks him for not shooting to kill. I don't think you're in the game, Angel, here. You didn't shoot to kill, and you just tried to take the leg out and whatnot. At which point she then takes a gun, shoots him in the shoulder, and she's like, well, that wasn't a blank. This is it. Get the games started. She busts through the window into the sunlight. We cut over to the offices of Wolfram and Hart. Angel turns up there wearing a suit. He has got like an attaché case with him, if that's even the right word for it. He sneaks in there to try to get into Lindsay's office. He's searching through the desk drawers. There's a little moment there where he bumps into one of the other lawyers that works in the building. The guy mistakes him for somebody else, and there's a whole thing where he goes into this over the top, talk about meetings and whatnot, and are they crazy, this sort of thing. So Angel has to play off that he is a lawyer as well, but this guy's just one of these pricks that thinks he's more than what he is. He's all talk and whatnot. But he gets up there anyway to Lindsay's office. He's going through the drawers when Lindsay enters, and he denies knowing anything about Faith. He also informs Angel that Wolfram and Hart has advanced security systems, both electronic and mystical. No vampire can get into the building undetected. A security card appears from the back of the office. Angel knocks him out. Lindsay tells him that there'll be more on the way. And the entire encounter that they're having here has been recorded in high-def video. Angel leaves, promising to see Lindsay again real soon. And Lindsay's like, just whenever I think I've got you worked out, you turn up wearing a suit. So, the back and forth between these two characters. There's an episode way later on in the run of Angel where these two end up in a situation, and it's almost like a buddy cop kind of an episode. Fantastic. Lindsay is a great character, and in all fairness, what to do with him in the run of the 5 seasons of Angel is great. But he's one of these characters that you kind of wish you seen a little bit more. Had him there for longer and whatnot. He does disappear for a bit and comes back again. Back over with Wesley and Cordelia, they're planning to get away as Angel instructed them, but they go to her apartment to pack. Dennis, the ghost that lives in her apartment, tries to prevent Cordelia from opening the door, and she thinks Dennis is jealous of Wesley until they discover that Faith has broken in. Faith is correctly calculated that Angel, indifferent to being targeted himself, will be unable to ignore threats to his friends. Wesley attempts to offer help, but when Faith knocks Cordelia out with an elbow to the face, Wesley punches her. Faith's impressed, but responds with a hard kick. We cut back to Romania in 1898. Angel's now down and out. Well, I was going to say Angel's there, but at this point in his timeline, he has been cursed. He has a soul back, so he's technically Angel. He's begging for help in the streets of Borsa, and he encounters this group of well-dressed people who, toss a coin at him, get yourself a drink sort of thing. He tosses it down, telling the man that he wants the woman in their company. Outraged, the men rush Angel, force him into a dark alley. As he's shouting, "I'm a monster," Angel tosses one of the men back out onto the street, leaving the other lying in the alley. Angel staggers out, grabs the woman and drags her into the alley and bites her in the neck. We cut back to the present day. Angel arrives at Cordelia's apartment and she tearfully explains what's happened. When Cordelia asks about Wesley, Angel tells her that he's gone. They don't know where he's at, but he's at an apartment with Faith. There he's gagged, he's tied to a chair, he's battered, bruised. finds Wesley still unwilling to give up information. Fifth recites the list of the 5 basic torture groups, blunt, sharp, hot, cold and loud. Gives Wesley a choice. He starts to give an emotional speech, but ends up calling her a piece of shit. But before he can finish, Fifth, outraged, decides on her own to move from blunt to sharp. So she breaks glass from a picture frame, picks up a large piece of broken glass, and she's about to torture the life out of him. Meanwhile, over at Cordelia's place, Angel, Cordelia map recent assaults, hoping to learn where Faith might be at. Angel wants to know the address of Faith's first victim. He suggests that Faith might be staying in that apartment, as the police report from the guy she knocked out at the beginning of the episode. He's still in hospital. Another guy, had reported encountering the bitch from hell. This first guy knocked out, still in, critical. Well, I can't remember if it was critical condition or just really bad condition, but he's still in the hospital. So Angel reckons that's where she's at. So they have it worked out. We cut back over to the apartment where Faith is at. She's sitting in an open window waiting for Angel, and you can see in her hand the glass that she had broken to torture Wesley with, and there's now blood on it. She drops it to the pavement below, a drop of like 4 or 5 floors. Turning back and towards the room, she finds a lighter and a can of cooking spray in the kitchen, and she's taunting Wesley, and she shows him how she can make a burst of flame of it. There's a moment there between the two of them where she's like, did you ever think what would have happened if things had been different? Would it be, would you still be there, or would it be Giles in this position, or were we just destined to end up down here? And you kind of have to tell you, if you're a better watcher, I'd have been a more positive role model. So she's really trying to wind Wesley here in a big way, and she's fully prepared to torment him at this point. So when she's using this lighter and the spray blasting out the flames, she removes Wesley's gag, saying she wants to hear him scream. At that point, Angel smashes down the door and charges into the apartment. Fifth drops her torch and holds a knife to Wesley's throat. Kind of like saying, you're in the game here. Now, something that did jump out to me in this episode, I'm not 100% sure here, so just go with me on this little train of thought right here. Angel, even though he's got a soul, still a vampire at the end of the day. You need an invite to come into an apartment or place where somebody lives at. Now, to the best of my knowledge in this storyline in this episode, the guy that owned this place got beat up, mugged by Faith at the beginning of the episode. I think the city was still in bad condition in hospital. So, technically, if he's still alive, Angel couldn't have got in to the apartment until he died. So I'm not 100% sure there. Maybe a little bit of a break in the story, or a little hole in the storyline, but it is what it is. They get in and they're ready to fight the showdown at the end of the episode. Before we get to that though, we cut back to Romania, 1898. Picks up from where the previous flashback ended, when Angel beat these guys up, pulled this woman into the alley and sunk his teeth into her neck. But he stumbles out, muttering, "I can't, oh God, I can't." And as he stumbles away down the street, you see the girl he attacked appears in the entrance of the alley. Bitten, but still alive. We cut back over to the final moments of the episode here, where Wesley sits under Faith's knife as she and Angel face against each other. A wee bit of verbal abuse between the two of them. one of Angel's jabs makes Fifth drop her guard. He's like, he has her worked out, essentially, at the end of the episode. But he doesn't give too much of it away here. He's in the game now. He's ready to fight her. I was going to say ready to fart her, but that would be strange and weird. And just, it would be funny to see that visually. But he didn't fart her. He was ready to fight her. So Wesley, realising that she's dropped her guard ever so slightly, flings himself on his chair backwards out of her grasp. Angel knocks Fifth down with a kick. The fight begins. The choreography of the fight in this episode is absolutely fantastic. Like, there's moments in there's Angel and Fifth, the actors fighting, but then you've got the body doubles, the stunt doubles doing a lot of the fighting in there too, but the cuts, the edit of it, the pacing of it is fantastic. And the moments there where there is the stunt doubles isn't as clear as it normally would have been. That was a big thing in some of the earlier episodes, particularly. And the thing that jumps to my mind now, I was watching the last couple of episodes of season 2 of Buffy there the other day, and the final fight between Buffy and Angel. Like, you could clearly see the stunt double that was playing Angel in particular really stood out at times. But anyway, we're back into this episode. The fight is absolutely fantastic. Angel's missing tons of opportunities to attack. He's fighting, but he's more in defence than actually throwing out punches and whatnot. Eventually they crash out the window together, down the 4 or 5 flights to the alleyway, land in the dumpster, continue their fight. Wesley manages to free himself. A knife was dropped earlier, and he's managed to get himself over and cut the ropes. He grabs a knife to go out after the two of them. Like, at the end of the episode, at this point, he's out for blood when it comes to Fifth. But down in the alleyway, Fifth swings at Angel repeatedly, lands a few blows. She repeatedly starts to say, "I'm evil, I'm bad." Breaking his long silence, Angel tells her, "Nice try, Fifth. I know what you want, and I won't do it. I won't make it easy for you." Fifth continues to hit Angel, but her blows decrease in strength. And whenever Angel said that, like, he's taking all these punches and whatnot, like, he lands a good hard punch, knocks her down, and then he goes into that, "I'm not going to do it for you, I'm not going to make it easy for you." As I say, Angel has her worked out, and you're seeing in the final moments of this episode what the flashbacks were saying there. It's just where she's at this point in her journey. You're seeing that from a different perspective from Angel whenever he got his curse and whatnot, and he was kind of giving up as well. But she continues to hit Angel, but her blows are starting to decrease in strength. And she goes from, and I'm not going to lie, I'm a big softie when it comes to well-written stories, and you get an emotional beat there. And the way they do it in the final moments of this episode, like, I mean the final moments, like, you're talking the last 30 to 40 seconds of the episode. She goes from the rogue slayer, the vampire slayer, the rogue slayer, throwing punches and kicks and all this precise fighting style and whatnot. She slowly goes from that, losing her strength, and she ends up beating Angel's chest like she's a small child having a tantrum, sort of a thing. Wesley appears armed with a knife, and at this point Fifth begs Angel, she's like, "I'm evil, I'm bad," and she's like, "Angel, just please do it, just please kill me." And she's grabbing him by the shirt at this point. All the hitting has stopped, and she's begging him, "Finish it, kill me." Angel grabs her, puts her arms around her, and at the end of the episode, she drops to her knees. He's down there holding her like a small child, essentially. just trying to comfort her at the end of the episode, and she's crying hard at the end of that episode. That's absolutely fantastic how they did it. I have to say, Elijah Dushku as Fifth, absolutely fantastic. Whenever you get that final piece of emotion there in the episode, absolutely fantastic. In the background, the final shot is Wesley standing with the knife in his hand, looking across, and you see Agel down on his knees and whatnot, and she's cradled in his arms, bawling her eyes out. Wesley just drops the knife there, and we cut to be continued. So, absolutely fantastic episode. I've talked a lot longer here than I was actually expecting to talk about this episode, but that's good. That's absolutely fantastic. Now, I was curious whenever we get round to this. You knew whenever Agel started, I'm just going back to what I was thinking whenever the first run of it was happening. I've said before in other reviews, the season of Buffy, where we last seen Fifth. Sorry, my dinner is coming back to haunt me. The last episode, you seen that struggle and Fifth in the last episode, but you also seen the destruction between her and Buffy, so I think that's going to happen in the next episode. They're going to deal with that. Buffy's going to come in there. But I was always curious to see how this would go whenever we got to the Agel series, because you knew she had left, she was heading to LA, she was going to bump into Agel. When it finally happened, paid off in a big way in this episode. Absolutely fantastic. Love it. Great show. Right, that's going to do it for this review, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't yet, please rate and review the show. I don't know if it's a good thing to ask people to do that or not, but check out all the stuff that I'm doing at coinsagemedia.com. This isn't the only thing I do as far as online creation goes, but it's one of my favourites. There's other stuff happening on the website. What else have I got? All the links to everything is on the website there as well. If you want to, it's really a suggestion. If you fancy helping out with the show, there is a Patreon active as well. You can also find that through the website. But for now, I'm going to close out the episode. And until the next one, whatever you're doing, stay safe, and I'll talk to you all then. This has been a production of Coins Age Media. Thank you so much for listening.